Chapter 8. No Voice But Mine. That evening, when the house had settled down, Gale was contemplating all that had happened that morning. It was definitely not what he had expected. The memory returned in fragments warm enough to unsettle him. Stone steps outside the training room. A tired woman in a red dress saying his name like it was something worth handling carefully. Less distance than before. He sat at his desk and stared at the ceiling. Dangerous. Not because of her. Because of what she had awakened. He was dressed simply for once, leaving aside the more formal robes in favour of dark blue travel clothes that moved easier at the shoulder. No collars worth suffocating in. No ceremonial layers of dignity. Just cloth, boots, and the body beneath them. Inside, the house was sleeping. He crossed the corridor, descended the rear stairs, and stepped into the garden beyond the kitchen where the night clung to the hedges. Above him, the sky was pitch black. A cavalcade of stars stretched above him. He tilted his head back and watched them. Once, stars had meant inevitability to him. Systems, laws, names handed down by wiser hands, fixed points to navigate by. Then they had meant ambition. Then judgment. Then distance. Now perhaps they might mean something else. "You are out here late," a familiar voice said. He did not startle. He was tired of startling for gods. Mistra stood beside the fountain as though she had always been there. Pale radiance gathered neatly around her like fabric, beautiful in the polished, curated way of statues and storms. The air around her smelled faintly of rain on stone. He had once adored that scent. Now he merely recognized it. "I've found I wasn't ready for sleep," he said. Her gaze moved over him, assessing in that old, impossible way that made inspection feel like grace. "You have been distracted." He smiled faintly. "Have I?" "There is unrest in you. There has been unrest in me for years." "You know what I mean?" "Yes." He did. She meant deviation, drift, the dangerous stirring of preference. She meant he was becoming difficult to direct. Mistra stepped closer. "I asked you to guide the girl," she said, "not be moved by her." Ah. There it was. Not concern. Administration. "She has a name," he said. Mistra's expression barely changed, which in her was the equivalent of a thunderclap. "You grow sharp. I grow tired. You were given much, Gale." The old phrase dressed in silk. He felt it move through him like a remembered chain. Gifted, chosen, elevated, blessed. Indebted. He drew a slow breath. "Yes," he said. "I was." She seemed pleased by the concession, and much was forgiven. There it was too. Not merely indebted. Guilty forever. The orb, the hunger, the years bent under fear, the desperate kneeling at the edge of annihilation. The crown surrendered into hands that had never once carried the cost of his body, forgiven. He almost laughed. Instead, he looked back at the stars. "I know that voice," he said quietly. Mistra frowned. The gilded cage, the guarded spell. Take less, need less, ask for none. Gale. "Hide your shadow from the sun, stand up straight and wear the chain. Call your hunger noble pain." Her light sharpened. "You mistake discipline for oppression." "No," he said, turning to face her at last. "I mistook surrender for wisdom." Silence moved through the garden. Somewhere in the hedge, a nightbird stirred. Mistra's beauty cooled. "Caution kept you alive." "Yes." "Order restored your mind. In part." Humility preserved what arrogance nearly destroyed. He considered that, then nodded once. Yes, he said again. There is truth in all of it. Her posture eased, and then Gale smiled. But lamps can guide, he said, and lamps can blind. I know the difference now. For the first time in a very long while, Mistra looked uncertain. It lasted only a moment. You are emotional, she said. Temporary passions often masquerade as revelation. His mind flashed, treacherously, to Vesta standing in the doorway with sleep in her eyes and courage in her shaking hands. He did not smile this time. No, he said. Temporary passions usually arrive louder. Mistra's jaw tightened. This woman destabilizes you. This woman challenges me. She is reckless. She is honest. She is dangerous. Then she is in excellent company. The answer startled even him. Mistra studied him in a new way now, not as property gone unruly, but as something slipping beyond her category of management. You would choose chaos over wisdom? No. His voice came calm as clear water. I choose neither false choice nor borrowed fear. Moonlight silvered the edge of the garden. I will keep the wisdom, he said. Lose the fear. Fear keeps mortals prudent. Fear kept me smaller. It kept you safe. It kept me obedient. Her radiance flared. You speak as though I harmed you. Gale went very still. The younger version of himself would have rushed to reassure her, would have translated his own pain into apologies for making it visible, would have mistaken mercy for silence. That man had suffered enough. You taught me usefulness and called it love, he said. You taught me dependence and called it devotion. You taught me to distrust my own voice whenever it differed from yours. You talk of what was given and not what was taken. Mistra's face became unreadable. You overstate, she says coolly. I understate by instinct. The words landed between them with almost physical force. He felt something inside himself uncoil. Not rage. Something cleaner. Authority. If I continue helping Vesta, he said, it will be because I choose to. If I remain careful, it will be because I choose to. If I love deeply someday, it will be because I choose to. Mistra's eyes flashed. You presume much. No, said Gale softly. I decide much. The garden fell silent. Then, with all the dignity of offended weather, Mistra stepped back. You are not as wise as you imagine. Perhaps, he said. But for the first time, the mistakes will be mine. She vanished without farewell. The scent of rain thinned and was gone. Gale stood alone beneath the star-filled sky. Alone. The word should have felt frightening. Instead, it felt spacious. He exhaled once, long and shaking, then laughed under his breath. Well, he murmured, that was overdue. The stars above burned cold and clear, untroubled. He lifted one hand. For years he had practiced magic as management, containment, precision sharpened by anxiety. Useful, elegant, restrained. Now he reached for it differently. Not hungrily, not desperately. Joyfully. Arcane light bloomed from his palm in a slow, rising spiral, silver shot through with blue. It climbed above the garden in widening circles, then broke apart into dozens of luminous points that hung overhead like a new constellation. He moved his wrist and they wheeled. He laughed again, full this time. Another gesture, and lines of light connected star to star, sketching impossible geometries in the sky, bridges, paths, patterns no academy had named because no academy had thought to play. Power answered him cleanly. No hunger beneath it. No shame inside it. No voice but his own. He sent the lights higher, and they burst soundlessly into a rain of bright fragments that drifted over the sleeping house like blessings. In an upstairs window, Karlak shoved the curtain aside with both hands. "Oh, there he is," she said, grinning so wide it hurt. Behind her, Astarion appeared in a silk robe of indecent expense and looked out with aristocratic suspicion. "Gods," he said. "Self-actualization at this hour." Karlak barked a laugh. "Look at him showing off. He's earned at least one dramatic evening." Across the hall, another window opened. Vesta leaned out into the cold air, hair unpinned, eyes wide. She watched the final lights drift through the garden and land against Gale's shoulders like falling stars. Down below, he felt her before he saw her. He looked up. Their eyes met across stone, glass, and starlight. No performance in either of them now. No shouting. No armor. Vesta smiled first. Small. Real. Wonderstruck. Gale, to his own surprise, smiled back without defense. Then he raised 2 fingers, and one last spark of blue light flew upward in a graceful curve, coming to rest outside her window like a waiting star. Astarion made a disgusted sound. Karlak put a hand over her heart, and in the garden below, Gale Dekarios stood in the moonlight, not as god, not as professor, not as penitent or cautionary tale, but as the man he had always been meant to become.
I know that voice, I know it well. The gilded cage, the guarded spell. Take less, need less, asked for none. Hide your shadow from the sun. Stand up straight and wear the chain. Call your hunger noble pain. Smile and bow, endure the night. Mistakes surrender for the light. But lamps can guide and lamps can blind. I know the difference now. No voice but mine will name these stars. No hand but mine will heal these scars. I keep the wisdom, lose the fear. I keep myself and leave you here. No voice but mine. Yes, caution kept me breathing still. A steady heart, a tempered will. When storms were high and roads were thin, discipline could pull me in. But what once saved can later bind. A lock can grow around the mind. I thank the bars, I praise the key. Never saw what it cost me. If I build order, let it be kind. If I love deeply, let it be no voice but mine.